Good morning, everybody. We're back in this farm, which I used to just kind of talk to people. I actually had the extra room already. That means, who am I charming in this game? Actually, I forgot. I'm talking to Emily. I am? I don't know. I think I was trying to charm Emily, but then I found that Emily was really boring, so I was like, no, not today. And then I started becoming friends with Linus because I wanted the fiber result or recipe. Sorry, result recipes. You know what I mean. The one that gives you the fiber. Anyway, we're still back here with the crabs. They still want solar essences, and these guys wanted omni-geodes. Okay, fine. I don't know if we're going to be able to get those, but that's fine. What type of sword is this? Wooden blade. That probably means I haven't been to the place too far. Okay, into the mines. Look, this is one of the mods that I have running right now. I've got the mods running locally, not really sure entirely which ones I've got right now. I think the list one, I think I may have showed you that. Yep, that one's only got a few more things for planting grass stars at the end of the season and going to see the traveling merchants. Okay, that's, no, not L. Anyway, as the title says, I wanted to talk about weight loss, and it's one of those topics that a lot of people have a lot of very strong feelings about because either they don't like losing weight or they think there's all sorts of terrible things that you need to do in order to lose weight and stuff like that, and or they tried a whole bunch of different ways to do it, different diets. They may have tried all sorts of diets. I don't want to eat the eggplant, thank you very much. And that's kind of left a bad taste in their mouth, and it's not strange actually for me to encounter that because I used to be the same way. I was put on diets from, as far as I can remember, early teens, maybe even to age 10 or something, because my mother was always very fascinated with my weight and how she didn't like how heavy I was and stuff like that. Look at this chicken changing colors. And so she always wanted me to lose weight, and she would try all sorts of different fad diets on me. She is the one that actually put me on fad diets from the beginning. So I kind of got that whole experience of going on a diet is bad, and it means you have to suffer for very little results, and after a while the weight loss slows down, and so what's the point, blah blah blah. So I had that same experience, but I've lost a good amount of weight twice. The first time all I did was calorie counting and just staying under a certain amount of calories, and I think for a woman you're supposed to eat like 2,000 max a day if you want to like stay on your weight according to averages. We'll talk about averages in a bit as well. Look, we got a Morel here. Surprise, Morel. He's trying to hide from me. And for men, that's 2,500 a day. Now, averages, it's something that they determined, like in general population, a male should eat this much, a female should eat that much, but it can differ per person, and it actually does. The thing is, if you've been on diets before, particularly like crash diets, then you're not likely to be on that same number anymore. That's because I've learned that the body has a certain amount of calories that it needs per day to just run its basic operations, and that is actually the biggest amount of calories that you burn per day. And I think on average you're supposed to be around, was that 1,400 a day or something for women in any case. Not really sure what it is for men. But if you've been crash dieting in the past, which unfortunately a lot of women have been doing, then that number has probably gone down because the body has this trick that it does. When it notices that there's like a starvation thing happening, it goes, oh wait, I can't get the amount of calories that I need anymore on a daily basis. That means I'm going to redesign my systems, and from now on we only need 1,100 a day. So if you then go on a diet that puts you on a 1,200 a day diet, you still have 100 calories surplus per day, and that means you're not going to lose any weight. You'll just gain weight really slowly if you then also do not move in order to burn off those extra 100 calories per day, which a lot of people don't tend to do. Well, 100 calories would be difficult, I guess, not to burn off because you do walk back and forth a little bit, but exercise really doesn't burn that much calories as people might think. If you were to look it up, I think if you go and do exercise for, I don't know the numbers really, but if you were to do exercise for like jogging for like half an hour, I think you would only burn less than 400, if even that much. I don't know the number exactly, but it's a fairly disappointing number. I do remember that. So when I was doing the calorie counting, I just made sure to stay under a certain amount. I think I kind of stuck around 1,000 or something, maybe 1,200, because back then I hadn't actually crash dieted, so it still worked out, and I lost about 20 kilos, I think, in a reasonably short amount of time. To the point that people were like looking at me like, oh wow, you're going pretty fast, I don't know if this is healthy and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, nothing's going on, everything's fine. And so but I didn't actually watch what I was eating, so I was just calorie counting and eating stuff that I liked, but that didn't really go down too well because that still left me hungry every once in a while. So after a while I reached my goal, and then I just kind of let up again, and that's the big mistake you can make with dieting, is that you go back to your old habits, because it's not like you can then just go and eat more and expect to be okay. Did I turn the anchor in? Yeah, I have. Okay. I don't even know what I have in my museum. We should go take a look what I have in the museum just to see what I still need to turn in. Anyway, so people sometimes think that if they come from like a 2,500 to 3,000 calorie diet per day as a female, for instance, or a 3,500 calorie diet for a male or more per day, and they just go on a diet for a while and they reach their goal, that they can just go back to their old way of eating and then everything should stay stable. But that is not how it works, because you are once again eating too much, and whenever you have too much in a calorie deficit, the body of the human species is very good at storing for future use. So all those extra calories just sneak back on, and that's how you have what people call the yo-yo effect. Look, we got a few things. Oh, we got the ancient seed here, very good. Well, there's the anchor. Okay, not too much, but I got a few things. I was trying to keep things separated. Look, I have the dwarf scroll over here, and I want to put the other scrolls here. I think like all the use items are down there, and once that is full, I guess I'll make the switch up here. I don't know, we'll see. I haven't done too much mining, I think. And I also never read these books because I find them extremely annoying and boring. But I could do that, I guess, after a while if I was really like into reading for some reason. Anyway, so I did that back then. I got to my weight that I wanted, and like many people, just kind of went back to my old ways, and slowly over a couple of years, well, I would say over about 5 or 6 years, I gained it back again, and then we were back, no, maybe a little bit shorter actually, because I left the previous job, like the one that I was at for a long time. I left that one in 2018. Still reasonably on my target weight then, and then in the next 2 years I think I gained another 10 kilos or something, so I was already like 10 kilo heavier than I was expecting to be, which wasn't a super big disaster yet because it was still within a good decent range. I think I do have the quarry in this save. But then, of course, we had the coronavirus hit, and we were locked down, and like many people, that put me in a position where I was very easy going when it came to procuring food. I did order quite a bit of takeout, a little bit of stress eating here and there, just being bored and stuff like that. So I gained even more, I think another 10 kilos after that. The entire year I didn't really notice it until we had to have pictures taken for the place that I'm currently at, and I was like, this doesn't look quite how I imagined it, because there is like this thing, some people look in a mirror and they see themselves as bigger than they are, but it's also possible for people to look at a mirror and think that they're smaller than they are until they actually see themselves from a slightly different light. So I was definitely heavier than I was expecting, and I ended up being, I think when I started doing this, I was at 104.5 kilos, which is kind of heavy, at least heavier than I think I may have been heavier once before. When I was a teenager, I was quite heavy. I think it was a little heavier than that then. So I was getting close to the heaviest that I had been, and I was like, okay, this needs to stop. I'm gonna do this the smart way. So what I did, and what I'm currently still doing, because I haven't reached my goal weight yet, is I am still doing calorie counting, but I'm also increasing the amount of protein that I'm eating and decreasing the amount of carbohydrates that I'm eating, because carbohydrates make you feel hungry faster. At least that's how it works out. I don't know if that is the technical term. Oh, can I buy a better sword? Can I get a better sword? No, this is it. So, the carbohydrates make it feel like you're not really full, like you're in need of, what did I put in here? Nothing much. Cookies. Level 10, wow. Like you need to eat again soon, and protein is kind of the opposite in that sense. Wow, that's a good one. You immediately get the staircase. So I increase the amount of protein that I'm eating, making sure that I don't actually feel hungry for most of the part. Tend to not really feel hungry at all. The only time when I'm like close to like, I wouldn't mind having something to eat is when I'm actually at work, and it's a little bit more difficult to just grab a quick snack or something. And I tend to have something with me for breakfast, but then I have to wait until, what is it, like noon for lunch. And that tends to be a little bit too long, I feel. I want to get rid of this one, thank you very much. Other days, I can just quickly grab something small, or just a quick cup of soup maybe, for a little bit of calories, and then everything will be fine and no problem as soon as I am working from home. But at the office, I always feel a little bit antsy about people seeing me eat. That's kind of something that I don't like in general, like people watching or seeing me eat something. I will bring breakfast with me to eat at work because I don't like to eat when I still have to go places. Like when I have to go somewhere, before I leave, all I can think about is getting everything ready and what time is it, and I still need to do this, I still need to do that, stuff like that, and then I leave, and then I won't actually have time to eat until I've like arrived at my destination and have a chance to like settle down, because before then I'm just not settled enough to actually eat. Anyway, so I eat at the office, and sometimes other coworkers will be there early as well, because I tend to arrive at 8, whereas most people tend to arrive around 8:30, but some people arrive at 8 or a little bit earlier as well, and then I'm sitting there. I'm just trying to have my breakfast, and I don't think that they particularly care about that. But I do care about them seeing me eat, because it's just something that I've always hated, particularly when I've always been kind of big, so I've always hated people seeing me eat, because for whatever reason, I'm out of energy pretty much. The thing is, when people who don't know you see you eat, and you can be, I don't know, like this could be your first thing you're eating during the day, but if you're overweight, then there will always be these looks that you get from people like, oh, you really need to eat that? Are you sure you really need that? You know, that type of thing. That's always made me kind of anxious about eating in public, unless I'm like at a restaurant or something where it's like appropriate to be eating. So I just don't like when other people see me eat, even if they don't think that's a big deal. So that's the whole thing. So in short, I have extra protein in my meals. I have no carbs or low carbs if I can get away with it. And I calorie counts till about, I think it's currently at 1,000 to 1,100 a day, something like that. And that's going fairly well. I think I lose about, what would I say that is? Was that about a kilo a week or something? Something along those lines. I think so. Yeah, I think about a kilo a week, which is a decent amount of health, or at least weight loss, which is not unhealthy. So it's like, oh, we don't have that one. I already have that one. So it's not too fast, but it is fast enough so you can actually see the weight being lost. It's gradual, but it's still fast. Oh, Linus, you have a cutscene here. What's going on? Hello. Benji, come stand next to the fire pit. It feels great. Okay. Don't push me in, though. I was hoping you'd come by sometime. Well, I was just on my way home from the mines. I wanted to say sorry for the mistrusting you at first. Most people don't treat me well, so I've learned to be cautious. Understandable. But you've been uncommonly nice to me. You're a unique person. And I consider you a good friend. Oh. Hey, I want to show you something. Come inside. Ooh. You get to see inside the tents. That sounds at all suspicious. There we go. See this? It's a special kind of fish bait that I make. Ah. It's top quality stuff. I'd eat it myself. Here, I want you to have the recipe. Oh, nice. Special recipe, wild baits. Nice. Very wild. And luckily this is a single player game, so the time stopped during that. Okay, what was I saying? But yeah, so high protein, low carb, and counter calories, and that should keep you not feeling like snacking, not feeling like you're on some type of restrictive diet. And the type of stuff I eat is really not special at all. I just look for anything that is high protein, so that's a lot of animal products. I have a lot of dairy as well. Got cheeses. I like to break those Baby Bell things. They're kind of expensive, those little Baby Bell cheeses, but they're pretty good for just a quick breakfast or something. I also don't like cooking, so I always gotta make sure that it's not too difficult for me to prepare, otherwise I'll lose interest and I just don't stick with it. So it's gotta be simple, it's gotta be easy, and fast. I already have the war scroll turned in, so I don't need you. Now, the same reactions that I had with the previous time when I was losing weight so quickly, I have that now again with this new set of co-workers, basically. For some reason, when people see you losing weight, can really see you losing weight, because sometimes people lose weight gradually, and it's like a gradual thing, and they're not really noticing it until suddenly one day they're like, hey, I haven't seen you wear that dress in a while, looking good. But if you're doing it quickly, and for some reason people get a little bit antsy, or they start trying to feed you, or like I've never had more interest in what I had for lunch than the past couple of weeks. I started doing this around, I think around Easter that I started doing this. So around Easter I started bringing different types of lunch with me to work. I would bring like an omelet. Where's the second egg? Is there a second egg? Oh, right here. There you go. I'd bring an omelet with me from home, which I would make the day before, because I don't like making omelets in the morning. Like I said, I don't have time for anything that isn't strictly necessary, so I will make an omelet the day before and just wrap that up, and it's perfectly fine to eat the next day because it's just an omelet. I never really have an issue with that, but they would like look at that and, oh, that's interesting, you do that yourself, oh, interesting. And then after a while, it's like kind of bored with omelets, and I started bringing these cups of like dairy with me, just my own little Tupperware cup with some dairy in it and some seeds in it for fiber, because you do need to make sure to have extra fiber in your system, and also a little bit of that green powder mixed in for extra vitamins and minerals and stuff like that you might be lacking because of the reduced amount of variety in your food. And people just started like, I don't know, I wouldn't say complaining, but just kind of like the other day when I was like, oh, that's not a lot then, is it? Like, aren't you going to eat anything else? And I was like, no, it's fine. I'm not like done eating for the rest of the day after lunch, you know, no reason to concern yourself. And I noticed that people do tend to now also show up a lot more with leftover snack food that's found in the fridge at the office. Like, oh, hey, we still have some of these. You want one? That type of thing. And there's people having their birthdays, of course, that have cake, and they want everybody to have a piece of cake. And like, when was it? Yeah, yesterday I was at the office and somebody had their birthday, and of course they want to like give you a cake, or at least that's the thing in the Netherlands. You buy the cake if it's your birthday because you want to treat people, it's your party and that sort of thing, so blah blah blah. And they brought the 3 different types of cake, and they came into our little office space and they were like, okay guys, we're all doing like 1 piece of each, but do you guys want this type of cake, you want this type of cake, or this type of cake, or a piece of each, just to try all of them? And these are going to be thin pieces, they said. So we were like, oh yeah, sure, we'll try the small ones, so to speak, small pieces of each, just to see what they're all like. And then instead of giving us small pieces, they gave us like slightly larger pieces of each. So you have like a little bit larger than a regular slice of cake on your plate, and they just kind of walk in and go, oh, we couldn't cut it any smaller, that type of thing. It's really annoying. But luckily I didn't quite like one of the 3 types that they had, so I just easily left that. And then I also made sure to cut some of the crust off of the other one, because that's pure sugar pretty much, and so I'm made to try to at least not eat too much. I'm getting better at leaving things on my plate as well, because one of the things that I started doing as well with this whole weight loss thing is to just see if what I'm eating is something I'm actually enjoying, or if I'm just eating it because it's there, because that's one of the things that I used to do as a bad habit, like, oh, it's here, I might as well eat it because otherwise it's a waste and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people were also raised told that they should finish their plate, but you don't need to have so much on your plate to begin with, and if you don't want to finish it, that's not really a big problem, because you don't have to eat everything. And if you start forcing yourself to eat stuff, then you're only really going to end up being the victim of that eventually. I'm gonna put this, oh, I have stuff that I need to put in there. Oh, this one's also done. Okay, here you go. So yeah, if you've been raised that you should always finish what's on your plates, then maybe you want to stop that and really just eat when you actually want to eat something, when it's actually tasty, when it feels good to eat it, and not just because you feel obligated to do so. That really helps a lot, and if after a while it becomes a habit to not eat everything, so then it becomes easier to do. Anyway, that is the whole weight loss thing. I haven't really needed to go shopping for clothes yet, because I always have a couple of clothes, at least I used to have a couple of clothes just laying around that weren't quite the right size anymore, so I still have like a surplus of clothing that is currently, or was, too small for me, which is probably going to be a little bit easier to wear now. Also, I had a shirt that used to fit me just fine, which was now too wide, and I actually sewed like it's under the sewing machine. I made it a little bit thinner, so it's a bit more fit-fitting, which is nice now that I can also do that with my sewing machine. So I'm not going to throw clothes out. I'm just going to rework a couple of them to make sure that they still fit properly, so I don't end up looking like I'm wearing baggy clothes. And we're just gonna go ahead and fix our issues that way, the DIY way. So that's my weight loss story. So far I'm not done yet. I still have ways to go. I don't think I even said where I am right now. I started at 104.5 and I'm currently 92. So that's 12 kilos, 12.5 kilos, which I think is roughly 20 pounds. So that's not too bad. And since April 17th, that was Easter. So about 2.5 months, 3 months, about 3 months, I think, in total. Yeah. About 3 months time, 12 kilos, not bad. I think that's okay. I still have a way to go, like I said. I think I need to lose another 12 more or something, and then we'll see. When I'm around 80 kilos, I'll see if I want to go any further, because there is a weight, I think I'm supposed to be about 75 according to the BMI, but the BMI is always very restrictive for some reason. They always make things look worse than they are. You can very easily appear obese according to the BMI, so I wouldn't necessarily look at that scale if I were you. It's probably only going to depress you, but I think about 80 kilos would be a good weight for me in general. I don't think I should ever be stick thin, because I just don't have the build to do that. So that is it for today. Hope you enjoyed that story. Let me know if you've ever tried any weight loss in the past, and if you are perhaps willing to try this. And I'll see you in another video. I'll see you in a stream, hopefully on Tuesday, for Stardew Valley, where we're not playing this version, but the Four Corners farm. In the meantime, make sure to have a nice weekend. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.